Hi everyone! Today I'm excited to share something that might sound technical at first, but really gets super fascinating once you get into it. We're going to explore the bovine placenta and placentomes, which are the specialized structures in a cow's placenta that controls how nutrients and oxygen get from the mother to the fetus. My presentation is called The Bovine Placentome Structural Specialization and Adaptive Regulation of Maternal Fetal Exchange. Let's dive in. So the cow's placenta is different from the human one. It's called a synepitheliochorial placenta, and don't worry, I'll break that down later. What's important is that it's made up of many small units called placentomes, and these are like little exchange stations where nutrients and oxygen is able to get from the mother to the fetus within her. And here's the cool part. Cows don't increase the number of placentomes to improve their fetal growth. Instead, they fine tune the ones they already have by increasing blood vessels and changing how nutrients are transported. And this is called plasticity, and it's a big theme for today's presentation. Also, what the cow eats and how blood flows through her uterus can directly change how well the placenta works. So, understanding these mechanisms isn't just academic, it helps us improve calf health, especially in high producing dairy and beef farm systems. So, let's start with why this matters. In cattle, low birth weight and intrauterine growth restriction, or IUGR for short, can lead to weaker calves, higher mortality, and long term health issues. And that's a big deal for farmers and for animal welfare. Now, in humans, the placenta invades the mother's tissue deeply, but in cows, it stays on the surface. It's non invasive. And that might sound less effective, but it's actually a brilliant evolutionary trade off. Cows have developed a placenta that's highly specialized and adaptable, even without invading the maternal tissue. So, today I'll walk you through two main things. Number one, the structure of the bovine placenta and how it's built to support exchange. And number two, the factors that regulate how well it works, like blood flow, nutrient transport, and regional differences in the uterus. And here's the thesis. In cattle, the placenta doesn't grow bigger to improve exchange, it gets smarter by remodeling blood vessels and adjusting molecular transport systems. Cows have cotyledonary placenta, and that means instead of one big area of exchange, they have 70 to 120 small units called placentomes. Each placentome is where fetal tissue, called the cotyledon, connects with maternal tissue, called the caruncle. I like to think of it as a baby in the cot for the fetal side and a mom in the car for the caruncle side. Inside each placentome is a branching structure called a villus tree. Think of it like a tree with a trunk, branches, and twigs, all the like. And this design maximizes surface area, which helps nutrients and oxygen move more efficiently. And fun fact, when we compare cows to African buffalo, cows have more complex branching, and that shows how species evolve different placental designs based on their needs. Now we'll zoom in on the cellular level. About 20% of the fetal cells in the placenta are binucleate, meaning they have two nuclei, and these cells migrate across the placental barrier and fuse with the mother's uterine cells. And when they do, they form hybrid cells with three nuclei. Why does this matter? These fused cells deliver important hormones like placental lactogen and pregnancy associated glycoproteins directly into the mother's bloodstream. It's like sending a message across the wall without breaking it. And this fusion is unique to ruminants like cows and sheep. It helps regulate the mother's immune system and supports fetal growth, all while keeping the maternal barrier intact. During pregnancy, placentomes grow quickly in the first two-thirds of gestation, but in the last third, something interesting happens. The placenta stops growing in size, but its blood vessels keep expanding. That means the placenta becomes more efficient without getting heavier per se. So even though the placenta's mass plateaus, its ability to deliver nutrients increases, and that's a smart design, especially in late gestation when the fetus is growing rapidly. Angiogenesis and vascular remodeling all is about the blood vessels and how they change. In cows, the main ways to improve nutrient exchange is by increasing capillaries, which are the tiny blood vessels that are inside the placentomes, and this process is called angiogenesis. Two key molecules drive this: VEGF alpha and FGF2. They're like signals that tell the placenta to grow more blood vessels. And these molecules are found in both fetal and maternal tissues, and their levels correlate with fetal weight. So instead of making more placentomes, cows just remodel the ones that they have, adding more capillaries to boost the exchange. Blood flow is important, but nutrients also need to cross cell membranes, and that's where transporter proteins come in. These are like doorways that let glucose and amino acids into the fetal side. In late pregnancy, if you supplement the cow's diet with methionine, an amino acid, it increases the expression of these transporters. It also activates a pathway called mTORC1, which boosts fetal growth. So, what the cow eats can directly change how the placenta functions, and that's a powerful tool for improving birth outcomes. Not all placentomes are equal. The ones in the gravid horn, the side of the uterus with the fetus, are larger and more active than those in the non gravid horn. They express more genes for angiogenesis and nutrient transport, and that means the uterus adapts locally to support the fetus. Also, blood flow increases dramatically in mid to late pregnancy, but oxygen extraction stays the same. So it's the volume of blood, not just its content, that matters most. As calving approaches, the placenta undergoes a final transformation. Genes related to tissue remodeling, immune activation, and angiogenesis really ramp up, and this prepares the placenta to release membranes and deliver a final surge of nutrients. And understanding this process helps us manage calving better and improve neonatal health. To wrap up, the bovine placenta is a marvel of structural design and adaptive regulation. It doesn't rely on size, it relies on intelligent remodeling. And future research using single cell RNA sequencing and proteomics will help us understand placental function at an even deeper level. And nutritional or pharmacological interventions targeting pathways like mTOR and VEGF could revolutionize how we support fetal growth in cattle. Thanks for listening. Here are my references, and I hope you now see the placenta not just as a passive organ, but as an active, responsive system that plays a huge role in calf health and performance. Bye!